Back here at home now, there are new allegations leveled against the IRS and targeting of conservative groups. In a letter to the Treasury Inspector General, Congressman Darrell Issa writes the following. It has come to the attention of the committee that in addition to inappropriate treatment given to some applicants for tax-exempt status, existing organizations already recognized as tax-exempt by the IRS appear to have faced questionable treatment by the agency. Oklahoma Congressman James Lankford, chairman of the Republican Policy Committee, member of the Oversight Committee. And, sir, good morning to you and welcome to our program here
good morning,
on America's Newsroom. The allegation is a little different here because these weren't groups applying for tax-exempt status. They were groups that already had been granted that status some time ago. Explain.
That's correct. That's correct. This is actually two different things that we're asking the Inspector General to investigate. Since we have started this investigation of the Tea Party groups and other conservative groups that were held off, that were not given an answer yes or no on their exempt status, that were just put in a permanent IRS purgatory to wait on that, we've since learned that there are quite a few other entities that faced an audit that seemed very, very unusual to them. So some of these are long-standing, like the Leadership Institute in Virginia, have existed as a nonprofit since 1979 that suddenly face an audit coming up from the IRS. There's also some evidence that Lois Lerner was interested in any of these Tea Party groups that actually did get through the system, that they'd be put in an automatic review of operations. So automatically, a year later or 2 years later, they would get an audit. So there seems to be a systematic targeting of that.
Is there anything that would explain that? Is there any logic in play here?
Well, it is reasonable to say if someone comes in that you have a question about and say, I'm not sure that they're really telling me the truth, let's just do some review. But to just systematically say all of these groups, let's examine whether we're going to just take all of them and just assume all of them need review, that's very different. There are a lot of questions.
You have reports back from the IRS. What have they told you?
We do have reports from the IRS. They've been incredibly slow in releasing documents to us. Occasionally when they release documents to us, it'll be like this one. This was an email from Lois Lerner that we got back from the Chief Counsel's office, and this was the information that was included in it. We have multiple different documents, thousands of pages that are fully redacted that they said, well, this one page might have some personal information, so they're going to redact the entire page.
So it was a two-page return, and the second page was entirely blacked out?
Oh, no, not just the second page. Many pages came that were entirely blacked out. Whole tables that are entirely blacked out. Information that we get no information. The entire page is redacted saying this might have some personal information, so we're going to redact the entire page. That's absurd. They're not actually getting us the documents in time. I say again, if the IRS went to a business and said, you're being audited, turn all your documents over, the business would not have the option to be able to say, sorry, some of that information is personal. We're not going to turn that over. The IRS shouldn't have that either. They need to turn documents over. This went from we're going to release everything, we're going to get this cleared, to now this incredibly slow walk of documents to us that we need to be able to get the information out.
So Elijah Cummings, a Democrat on the committee, he writes the following on the screen for our viewers. It is unfortunate that you persist, this is a response to Darrell Issa, that you persist in this pattern of selectively releasing quotes instead of conducting a responsible investigation focused on implementing real reforms. I urge you to focus on obtaining the full set of facts rather than making unsubstantiated allegations. To Elijah Cummings, your colleague, what would you say?
Elijah Cummings is asking for a full set of facts. So are we. This is not a full set of facts. And in the IG investigation that we've asked him to broaden to look at some of these groups, we've been very clear on this. This is any group that's been attacked or that we perceive is out there being targeted because of their political activities on that. Whether Republican, whether Democrat, liberal, progressive, doesn't matter. If they're being targeted, we need to look at it. That's inappropriate.
I apologize for the interruption, just in the interest of time here. On the second issue now, about tax-exempt groups that had that standing for years and then were audited by the IRS at least once, maybe twice, possibly more, have you found that liberal groups were targeted as well?
Well, we have not had those come back and report to us, but we're asking the Inspector General to look for both. We're not asking just for conservative groups. We're asking for all groups that were targeted. That we do know the Tea Party groups. We have specific information saying that if they were to get through the process, there's a consideration of systematically going back and auditing them. That's inappropriate. So we do know that.
All right, James Lankford, Republican from Oklahoma. We will see where this one goes. Thank you, sir, for your time today. Jamie.